I once used dirty tricks to force the girl my parents sponsored to stay with me. I spoiled her rotten. I cooked for her, washed her clothes, and even paid to cure her grandmother's paralysis. Later, my parents were framed and died in a horrific accident, and my enemies left a sharp metal fragment wedged deep in my brain. The doctors said I wouldn't live past 5 years. But she turned around and held the hand of my enemy son. I knew he was the one that got away, her first love. She had always hated me for tearing them apart. So, I turned around and left, broken-hearted. 5 years later, we met again. She was now the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, publicly announcing her engagement to her first love. And I had become a homeless beggar, clinging to my last breaths, dragged down to the absolute dirt. Once again, I turned to leave, my heart bleeding. But on the grand stage, tears streamed down her face as she ran toward me. My parents were framed and met a tragic death. Our family business went bankrupt, and my enemies left a sharp metal fragment wedged deep in my brain during the assault. The doctor told me I wouldn't survive past the 5th year. This year is my last. I thought I would just die quietly, in some forgotten corner. But on Valentine's Day, while I was digging through a trash can, I saw Serafina Vance standing in front of a luxury hotel. She was wearing a custom-made gown, dripping in diamonds, looking breathtakingly rich and powerful. My hand froze in the trash. I stared at her blankly, my nose stinging with tears. After all, she is now a high and mighty female billionaire, no longer the helpless little girl I used to tease. Just then, a man walked up to her. It was Julian Sterling, the son of the man who ruined my family. My fists clenched so hard my knuckles turned white. Sarah gently took his arm, a soft smile playing on her lips. Looking at them, it finally clicked. She is getting engaged to Julian. Get the hell away, you filthy hobo! A harsh shout snapped me back to reality. I looked at the security guard who was raising a hand to strike me, and I quickly scrambled away, trembling. The guard sneered and walked off. I reached into my pocket and touched the few crumpled dollar bills I had. It wasn't even enough to buy my pain medication anymore. I decided to try another dumpster down the street, hoping to find something I could recycle for a few cents. But suddenly, Sarah appeared right in front of me, staring at me with an intense, unreadable gaze. I quickly buried my head deeper into the dumpster. Did she recognize me? The thought made my entire body shake uncontrollably. She must find me so pathetic, so hilarious right now. At that moment, Julian walked over, holding a takeout box, and handed it to Sarah. Are you hungry? Here, take this, Sarah said, handing the box to me with a gentle smile. I had dirt rubbed all over my face. I kept my head low and whispered a raspy, "Thank you." Julian frowned, pinching his nose. Sarah, you are always too kind to these street rats. Sarah stared at me deeply. Because I know what it's like to starve. Fine, it reeks here anyway, let's go. With that, Julian tossed 2 $20 bills onto the ground, pulled Sarah, and walked away. I stared at her retreating figure and carefully picked up the money. Then, I let out a self-deprecating laugh. What are you dreaming about, Ethan? How could she ever recognize you? After all, I am just a disgusting beggar now, someone people avoid like the plague. My chest ached with a bitter, hollow pain.